Amores. Hola, ¿cómo están? I know I haven't been here in forever, but just wanted to share my latest experience. You are correct. You read that right. How I am buying a home with pretty bad credit. Now, I should start by saying I'm still under contract. I'm not supposed to close for another week and a half. So things can change, and hopefully they don't, because this is something that I wanted. So let's just get into it. Now, why? Oh no, let's start with how I have bad credit. Now, I unfortunately went through a bankruptcy 2 years ago now. And so that really messed up my credit. I have been divorced, messed up credit, because honestly, I'm not going to blame that on anybody but myself. It happened. Poor decisions were made, and that led to the bankruptcy. Now, since the bankruptcy honestly brought my credit down very badly. I can't say that it was great before because of the poor decisions, but so bankruptcy, divorce. Right now I only have like a year and a half of good credit since the bankruptcy, since I didn't open any credit cards until 6 months after my bankruptcy. I only have two. I don't have a ton of credit. I think like max is $5,000, but most of my credit is in student loans. I have $20,000 in student loans. So there's that. That's how, why, where I have bad credit. It is poor. It is in the like low to mid 600s. I'm gonna let y'all guess there. So it's not the greatest. Now let's go into why. I have roommates. I mean, I live in my mother's basement, and I have for 2 years, and there's other roommates in the house. There's 2 other roommates upstairs, and then my mother's upstairs. So the entire home, roommates. And it's just too many, honestly. I am very particular in how I like things, and I can't dictate how other people treat their home. So I can't dictate how I treat my home. Now, why don't you move out into an apartment, Danielle? Are you dumb? Do I want to give money to anybody else? I'm not growing anything. Look, at least here, my mother's home, I'm helping her pay off her mortgage, right? Cool, that's nice. In an apartment, you are paying a corporation to live there. And so let's say here rent is going about $1,200 for a 1-bedroom. $1,100, $1,200 for like, semi-okay apartment here in Aurora or Denver. 1,200 times 12 equals, right, exactly. It equals a lot of money. So imagine all of that money going into your mortgage. Granted, after looking at my documents, most of those payments are going to go to interest. I'm going to pay probably about half of my home costs in interest, which is very sad, within the first 5 years. That's it, within the first 5 years. So that's sad, but at least I'm gonna own something, because when it comes down to it, I'm just trying to keep this forever, and hopefully, keep it as a rental property after I move into a bigger home. So that is why I don't want to rent. I don't want to pay somebody else's money. I don't want to have to deal with a constant increase in your rent every single year. I did it. I'm cool with it. I'm over it. Now, let's talk about how, what y'all came here for. In Colorado, they have the Colorado Housing Funding Authority. I may even get that wrong, but I'm going to put it down here somewhere, what it actually is, but it's CHAFA. They have a down payment assistance program, which you take a class. It's a 5-hour class. You could do it online also, but I went in person. It's a home buying class, so they go through all of the ins and outs of buying a home, what to look for, how dealing with the realtor will be, how the buying process will go, things to consider when you're buying a home. And so in those 5 hours, they go through all of this. They have a realtor come in and talk to you. They have a lender come in and talk to you. And then you get a certificate at the end. That process was very helpful. I'm not going to say that it answered all my questions or that like it really set me up, but it set me up to understand what the process would look like. Now, that's the down payment assistance program. They help up to 15% of the down payment. I ended up using, because of my credit, I could only be approved for an FHA loan, which is the government loan, the HUD loan. So I, unfortunately, because of that, my percentage isn't super high. It is, I don't even know if I should share it, but I'm going to, just, you know, for the fact of helping y'all out. Mine is at a 4.25. That's just because at the time of the approval, that is what the FHA was at. From what I've heard, it's not the worst. It is not the best. I've seen some at like 350 or 3.5, 375. So, you know, lock that in now, and then maybe in a year or two I can refinance. That's how I'm looking at it. So FHA, which the FHA loan requires at least a 3.5 down payment, that is after the assistance. 3.5% is what you have to put down. So on my $2,1,200 home, I had to bring $7,600, I think it came out to. Now I had a $2,500 Earnest money, and then on mine, we have a $3,000 concession, so that took $3,000 off of my closing costs. So when it really came down to it, friends, I only have to bring cash at closing is $753. That's not including the inspection fee that I had to pay. If I would have gotten a sewer scope, I would have had to pay for that. If I would have gotten the radon test, I would have had to pay for that. I didn't. Just wasn't a requirement. And the sewer scope, I have a HOA. It's a townhome, so HOA is gonna have to take care of that. Okay. But so I do have $753 is what I had to take to closing, which I really think my lender, honestly, the lender that I went through and the realtor that I went through have been amazing. The realtor I found through USAA, who's my bank, and they have a program which they give you like a little credit if you use their realtor or what have you. If you don't know this part, the buyer does not pay the seller's fee. So all you have to bring as a buyer is earnest money, which you already paid, which goes into your down payment, and then your down payment and closing costs. Your lender will provide all of that to you. It is a really cool form. Maybe I could put it on here so you guys can see it, but it gives you all the information, your breakdown. It's very sad because it will tell you how much you have spent in 5 years, how much you will have paid. Now in my case, it's not considering my HOA. I have an HOA. It is a townhome. Honestly, homes in Colorado are going so expensive. They're like, I mean, okay, so to put in perspective, my mother bought her home 2017, October 2017, for $260,000. My home, and her home is like a 1,500, 1,600, I think, square feet home plus outside. Okay. Oh no, 1,700 is how big her home is. 1,700, 3 floors, 3 bathrooms, 4 rooms, 2 living rooms. Okay, 260. My home is a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath for 212. That is 48, 38, $48, almost $50,000 difference, and she gets a whole backyard, 2-car garage, no HOA, and about 700 square feet more. So it was time. I needed to buy immediately. I had been looking, I took the class in April, but I had been looking for like officially since October. But then as I saw, you start going to places and you start seeing these places and getting an idea of what you're willing to work with and what you just can't. Like a lot of the homes out here just haven't been renovated, like updated, and I didn't have the money honestly to update it, because after a while, those ugly countertops are going to get to you. You have to put money into that. So my home is ready. I got one that has been upgraded, washer and dryers in there. They recently replaced the furnace or something like that. So like the reason I could have gotten like $180,000 home, which I did see, by the way, and I did not like, because they were old, they were outdated. And I mean, it's like I think he said it's like $10 more per $1,000. So was it worth it? I'm gonna say yes. That's not including the HOA fee. HOAs are not, I mean, look, we will see. One thing that I'm nervous about, honestly, is what the neighbors are going to be like. One thing that you can do in an apartment is go and complain to the leasing office, if something is just not up to par. Not here. The problems will need to be settled with the HOA or, directly. And I'm a direct person. I don't like going to go and like tell on anybody. I'm not a snitch. So if I have a problem with somebody, I feel like I'm gonna have to go and like speak to them, and I hope I don't have a problem with anybody. I've never really had a problem with any of my neighbors. I'm, cool. I'm not picky outside of my home. Inside my home though, I'm very picky. Now I will have a roommate. My best friend is going to move in with me. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully I don't lose a friend. That's all I know. And if it doesn't work, I'm not going to look for another roommate. I'm just going to have to look. Second bedroom will be like a closet or something. Just kidding. But yeah, so I would honestly just, if you're thinking about it, if you've been thinking about it, if it hasn't even been a thought but you're renting, I would consider it. Stop wasting your money. You're giving that money to who? Not to yourself. And with the percentage rates have dropped, a few percent. So I think, right now is a great time to buy. My realtor who made me this binder, honestly, it has been amazing, because she has like everything. So going under contract, what it looks like, forms that I would be getting under contract. I think that's what this is. Which I am. What the loan looks like. It has been so helpful. And one thing that I found super stressful, and like why you definitely need to work with a realtor that you're comfortable with, is because they're referring you to like the inspector and the lender normally. So you need to choose a team that you are comfortable with, that answers your questions. Like I had applied originally back in October with USAA, and the person that I spoke to, the lender was like, yeah, we can approve you for, it looks like we'll be able to approve you for a conventional loan. So I would have been 5% down is what I would have had to put down, so much more. But you'll have to come up with $10,000 more for your down payment. You can borrow it from somebody, he said. I said, I'm sorry. Do you think no, I didn't even say this. Honestly, I didn't say this. I was just like, okay, cool. Thanks. Bye. But after, like, I don't have anybody that I could just be like, hey, can I borrow $10,000? And it would have to be a gift, because you can't owe anybody money. And when you're going through this, that would be put down as a debt. If you are using this as a loan, it has to be given money. It has to be gifted. You do not need to repay it. That's one big thing that you also need to consider. I know a lot of people cannot buy homes because they have outstanding debt, right? Your debt to income ratio is not there. Get it up there. Like I know lucky to be in a position where I can buy a home before my 30s, and not everybody can. But if you can, do it. If you do it after 30, who gives a shit? Still do it. Like, all the money that you've spent since, 18 or whenever you moved out till now in rent to a corporation is not benefiting you. It's giving you a place to live, but it is not setting you up for anything. So I wish, honestly, this would have been something that I considered a long time ago, that I would have initiated this a long time ago. But I understand that, saving is hard. Saving is really hard. Like, I was poor for the last 6 months. I had to cancel a few trips that I had already agreed to go on, just because I just couldn't rationalize. And I know myself, when I go, on vacation, I like to have a fun vacation, and it usually comes out to a good $500-$600 that I end up spending on food, gas, what is the clothes, gifts for people when you come back, because I don't know, traveling is fun, and these were all going to be new places, and I didn't want to be a skimp. I didn't want to be the person that doesn't have fun because she's broke. So I just ended up not going, which, hopefully next year different opportunities arise, but I just couldn't rationalize spending $600 to $1,200 on 2 different trips, which could have gone towards my down payment or towards something that may have to be fixed in the home, or having to replace the dryer because I think it's ugly. So, if you've been thinking about it, talk to a realtor or a lender and just see what your options are. My lender really looked at my credit, called me the day after and was like, these are the things that I see. These are the things that I see as being a problem. If you could do this, that, and that, and then, give it a month, then we could see. And I didn't have a problem. The first lender that I spoke to did tell me that, like, there was one outstanding thing, so I ended up paying that before I went to my second lender, and it helped. They're really there to get you approved. It helps them, at the end of the day, but they are there to, set it all up for you. So make sure you work with somebody that you trust. I'm so excited. Honestly, anything can happen, but don't let, like, your lack of good credit be the reason why you're not going for it. At least try. It doesn't hurt to try, to talk to somebody, just to go through the process and ask them, questions. I didn't really have questions in the beginning, if I'm being honest. I didn't have questions until I got into looking at the homes, and you can always do that too. Honestly, these realtors don't need to know that you're not in a position to buy right now. They can just let you into the homes. And if you happen to come across a real asshole, just go to the open houses. Zillow uses Open Door for the properties that they buy. Here in Colorado, they've bought a few properties, and properties that they buy, they use an app called Open Door, which it allows you into the home. Sends you a code, and then you could go tour it. I think, honestly, that was helpful, because I was so sure when I first started looking for these homes that, like, the first few that I looked at, I was going to love. But then you get into it, and these pictures are like catfishes. Like, I have been catfished by quite a few photos, and going into them, this house does not look how I thought it was going to look. The rooms are smaller, the colors are uglier, like, it is just not. And, like, they only take pictures of certain at certain angles. So the same, y'all playing, but it's cool. That's why you have to go into them, check them out, and attend the inspection if you get into it. It was such a tough market, if I'm being honest. When we submitted my offer, there were 3 other offers that were either submitted or going to be submitted that they were told. And luckily I had a real, aggressive but nice realtor, and we're the ones that got it. So I'm hoping everything goes good. If the lender has been asking me for a lot of documents, which has made me so nervous. I've been so nervous throughout this entire process, just because having poor credit, like, you think that anything can come up, and something will come up, and you may not get approved. But I would encourage anybody to take that risk and go for it. See how it goes, because you could be a whole homeowner. And I'm so excited because I'm doing this by myself. I am going to be a sole owner of a home. You don't know how like excited that makes me. But again, I'm trying not to get too excited just because I don't anything could go wrong. But if nothing does, beginning 2020, ownership all year. Ownership. All right, y'all. Well, look into it. If you never listen to anything that this channel has to offer you, which I really hope that that's not the case, because we speak truth. Listen when I say that you should look into it. Look into building your wealth, owning something other than that towel that has been in your bathroom and not been washed for a week. I cannot stress it enough. And if you don't get it without me just ownership, just understanding ownership, I'm not the one to like talk you into it. All right. Well, I love y'all. Okay. If you have any questions and I can help, I am more than happy to help. If you are in Denver, Aurora, in the Metro Denver area, my realtor, Shauna Lurie, references all around, y'all, all around. Like, this thing has been so helpful, and she's always available. My lender, I ended up using Guild Mortgage, one of the, I think he's like a top star performer, like right underneath another guy that I talked to. So let me know if you're in Denver. I have references for these people. My team has been amazing and they got me there. So check it out, friends. Don't let poor credit be the reason why you're not owning anything, okay? Because you can. All right, friends. All right. Well, I love y'all. Be safe. 2020 ownership. Hello, say it with me. 2020 ownership. Say it with me. 2020 ownership. Okay. All right. Be safe. All right, loves.
And I'm getting mighty tired of your trifling ways and of listening to that jackass Bray.